You take a look at his scorecard, you see that par 4 10th, the 7 to open his round, but he makes 8 birdies. His strokes gained putting through 2 rounds puts him first. He has gained 5.714 strokes through the course of 2 days. But I will say this, to compare that, Jordan Spieth last year at Colonial in the opening round gained more than 5.4 strokes on the field in 1 round, not 2. Now, John, let's get back to Harold Varner. This is a young man who's very affable. The more you hear of him, the more you like. What did you like from what you just heard?
Oh, just about everything there, guys. Harold Varner III is a PGA Tour player. That's not a given. That is something that is earned. When you step inside the ropes, it doesn't define you as a person. It defines you as a player. And you go through some adversity, and just like he said, he started with adversity, but he knew he was playing well, so he knew it was going to get better. He said America's going through some adversity right now, and it was going well, and it will get better. It just tells me he's got great perspective on what he is doing. When he got to Colonial, he said, I just want to play golf. This is my platform. He's doing it really, really well right now.
Matt, confidence is something that maybe we can gauge it day to day, week to week, season to season. Seeing the way he started his round yesterday and the way he was able to finish, your confidence level goes from where to where with Harold?
Very high with Harold. I think the entire story, Gary, is absolutely brilliant. I mean, if it comes to fruition, it's part of why golf, it's part of why sport, I think, is so compelling. Whilst the world, here we are in the midst of a pandemic and protests for racial equality, and halfway through the first event back on the PGA Tour, an African-American, one of only 3 African-Americans ranked inside the top 200 in the world, is in sole possession of the lead. I mean, these are headlines that sports writers, heck, screenwriters would long for. But I think that oftentimes the pathway to the historic is paved with humility. I remember asking Charlie Sifford if he was aware that he was a trailblazer in breaking golf's color barrier. He answered me then. He said, I wasn't trying to be no trailblazer. I just loved golf. I loved playing. I wasn't trying to blaze trails. So I think sometimes significance is best not recognized in the moment, particularly earlier this week when Harold Varner III was asked about the significance of being here and that platform that we were just talking about. And he said, quoting, I'm a big hugger. I love to hug people. I care about people. I've been struggling, honestly. And earlier this week, Rex Hoggard wrote on golfchannel.com that he labeled Harold as the reluctant voice for social justice on tour. And in Harold's own essay on social media, I thought he was honest, he was revealing, he was emotional, he was impactful. And yet through it all, he continued to maintain that same humility that makes him so compelling. He has a balance. He has a reason about him that also makes him popular amongst his peers. In fact, even noting yesterday that if he's contemplating the bounty of a task not yet completed, that dangers lurk, when he said, if I'm thinking about winning a golf tournament right now, I've probably already lost it. So regardless, Gary, of how he finishes this week, I think one thing he cannot lose is our respect, that he had the courage, that he had the intellect, that he has the compassion to collectively hug us at a time when I think we all really need it.
Jaime, one of the challenges of professional golf is that, unlike the NBA, Steph Curry doesn't play a quarter and go home and then talk to the media before he plays his second quarter. Getting ahead of things, let's go ahead and do it because we can and we're apt to. If he happened to win, and he's only halfway there, is there a way right now to give some perspective?
Well, I think it'd be one of those stories that transcends, golf. It would elevate golf. It would elevate Harold Varner, meeting a big moment in our national history with a very, very, appropriate and timely kind of response. I think it would go down in history as something that everyone would remember. Certainly when Jackie Robinson, crossed the color line, that we remember that as something that changed sport and changed the American culture's relationship to sport. I'm not putting that on this level, but in terms of the immediate feeling, it would be something like that. It would be something about, this young guy, as Matt was mentioning, who has always been somewhat reticent and very humble about, his position in the game, sort of taking the momentum from something very emotional and using it in this constructive way, very heroically, if he were able to do it. I think it'd be something that golf could be really proud of, and that's something that we'll just remember beyond any of the the scores and the wins of tournaments. That would be socially significant.